Good day to you and
Good
all
day,
that
you
are
too.
watching this transmission. We come to you on what you refer to as the Day of Love and the celebration of this particular time, space, and frequency that you are. It is a day of celebration in that way, where you are joining with another person to celebrate your frequency and your vibration that comes into your space to be able to connect with who and what you are, knowing that you are, as a being, made of pure love and joy and excitement. You are an ecstatic expression of all that is from the point of view that we see you. This is how we share our love with you, by showing up enthusiastically and immensely in such a way that you will know we love you from the bottom of our hearts in that way.
Thank you, Edom. This
Today,
is lovely.
we
Ethan, for
are
this,
sharing our vibration in this way to celebrate this occasion that you know as Valentine's Day. Understand that the original purpose and original celebration, the event that caused it, was not the most joyous one. But understand in this day and time that the vibration has been transformed to reflect the understanding of love.
thank you. Ethan, for our new viewers, who are you and where are you, please?
I am an extraterrestrial. I am in my ship. I am what you would refer to as the channel's future incarnation, chronologically, from what you would perceive as time. I am not human, not even close in the way I look. I am what you would deem an extraterrestrial in my appearance, but I do have human genetics that have been passed down to me via my family line, my world, my people.
Thank you. Ethan, where is your ship now?
I'm still located roughly above your North Pole. Magnetically, I am helping to balance the polarity of the Earth and the energy coming into the Earth.
How are you doing that?
Our technology is quite more advanced than you can understand. Simply put, we are able to balance with our technology in our ships and our persons because we are operating at such a level. We are able to operate and pump energy into different vortexes and vortices around your planet to keep them balanced.
Thank you very much. I've noticed that speaking of love today and Valentine's Day, February 14th,
Yes.
2024, I've noticed that more people are what we call single. They don't have a special someone. And I've noticed that their love is turning inside, inwards, towards themselves. Do you sense that?
Yes. This is part of the evolution that you are going through societally. Instead of forcing the energy out into the world beyond just yourself and not actually loving who you are, at this time, the reflection of learning to love yourself en masse for the population of your planet.
Thank you. What will happen to society when people love themselves?
You will see a mass evolution of an understanding that the way you have been treated for many years will transform. For when everyone acts from a place of self love instead of a place of self loathing, many of the wars, many of the self doubts, many of the destructive nature that you have seen, because you are coming from a place of love and self love, you will no longer experience the idea of loathing, hatred for oneself and who for what you are.
Thank you. And I
This is
guess
part of your shadow work. This, as a culture, is things that have been in the shadow for many years. So, at this time, in this space, at this synchronicity, this is the lesson on mass that you are working through.
Right. Lesson en masse. Yeah. What would it take for us to see meaningful changes in our society so we can see that love energy permeates?
It's a case by case basis. It's not one person, it is on mass. It is the idea of a critical mass. Your energy, your personal vibration, your frequency shifts you to realities that are more and more reflective of everyone being in love with their soulmate, themselves. You will see en masse more people having relationships with healthy boundaries and having the ability to live from a state of pure existential internal love. Your society will transform and raise its frequency quite rapidly when it reaches an energetic critical mass.
Thank you. Speaking of energetic critical mass, I hear on other channels being channeled,
Yes,
that there is an event coming, and as far as I understand, the event will be a solar flare.
yes,
Um, does that have to do anything with the pole shift as well? Are these two connected?
yes, it is part of that process. But you are going through the idea of solar flares all the time. There are the ideas of storms. Yes,
Yes,
you
yes.
have them on your planet. There
Correct.
are also the ideas of solar storms. There are system wide storms that emanate from your star, Sol.
Hmm.
It is alive, it does have feelings. It is the
Right.
collective understanding and knowing, and it preserves all of the happenings going on, the collective consciousness of your star system.
The sun.
Yes,
Right.
on a higher level, it appears different to us.
Right. I remember listening to some of the raw material,
Yes,
and raw called the sun logos and sublogos, I believe.
yes. It is
Because,
representational of your collective consciousness as a
right,
whole system. So that
right, right.
includes the entire system. There are many things that have happened in this star system for millions of years that you do not know about yet,
Right.
but it will happen. It will be there before you know it. This time period that you are moving through that seems very challenging, that you have been moving through for the last 10 of your years,
Hmm.
12, 13,
Yep.
because in the next year, you will be moving to the idea of 13, the idea of transformation, the idea of moving to the next stage of your collective evolution.
Thank you. And the next stage is the hybrids.
No, that is still many years down the road for that to fully integrate into your society. You will have energetically move past many of the hurdles that you have held on to for thousands of years. As we read it right now, you
Hmm.
are and have reached the point of the beginning of window of open contact. Energetically, you will be leaving many things behind that have separated you, that have caused strife and even death in your societies.
Thank you, Ethan. When you say open contact, what form of contact would that be?
You are having open contact right now, in a way, but
Okay.
you will have a more physicalized version with beings that are part of our alliance. You will see more things. There will be less cloaking. There will be less hidden things. You will see a acceleration in the number of extraterrestrial sightings in even daylight.
Hmm.
It will be more obvious because you will have reached an energetic critical mass where you can move to that stage where you can start perceiving things more openly and honestly. Because you will have, as a collective, moved past the things that were in third density to fully start embracing fourth density.
I understand. Thank you. One of the channels I listened to spoke of the event, and this event will trigger a mass awakening that will take per individual a few days, and that awakening will be a state of joy and happiness and acceptance. Um, is it going to be like that, or is it going to be more of like an individualized understanding?
An internal, individualized understanding. You will start to see more things inside of your civilization and inside your individual cultures start to move in a more positive direction because you are no longer being caused or held back by the things that used to be there. Think about it as a society, all the strife that you have moved through in the last 12 years,
Uh-huh.
the embarkation point that you reached December 21st, 2012, you've reached 2024. You have gone through the years of transition and pain and strife. These are the ideas of the personal hells that you are leaving behind. For those that have done the work and have been able to actually accelerate themselves, it's an internal knowing, it's an internal way of being. Much in the way that the channel was activated, this is part of the process. It has reached the point in time where it was necessary for us to become active to help with the acceleration of the process of open contact.
So good. Thank you. I see what you mean, moving in a certain direction, how each step must happen before the next step can. For example, we spoke last time about worthiness and a state of lack, and today
Yes,
we're speaking of the half full of the cup, which is the love, and the love for self, acceptance of self, and so on. And then on a societal level, when it's critical mass, it'll happen on a societal level. So I can see where things are going this way.
it moves from the micro to the macro.
Yes, 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 yes.
The
I have a
idea that you are not enough, that you are worthless, be kind to yourself. En masse, on a certain level, when enough people reach the point where they are kind on average to themselves, where they live in that pure state of excitement, where they live from the state of synchronicity, you will
yeah.
start to see en masse more quickly more easily, openly, honestly, loving, you will see your society en masse start to reflect all those things that many of you have been working towards in the way it needs to show up. Not the way you want it to show up, but the way it needs to show up. Understand that by going with the flow, you will be open to the form that is most enriching and available to each one of you.
I understand. Thank you. I have a question here for you from Laurel.
Yes,
What does Ethium know about the Azez, A-Z-E-Z?
they are one of the ships in our alliance. They are part of our collective. They are not Sasani.
Thank you. Anything else about them that Laurel should know about?
They are part of the crew, the people that are helping to disseminate particular types of information, such as healing.
Thank you. There's a couple of lines here from Elissa. Elissa is saying lots of manipulators in the astral realm. And then Elissa says, yeah, no, how do you know? Basically, I think Elissa is asking, oh, here. How do you guys know when you're talking to good spirits?
Are they enriching your life? Are you feeling a state of anxiety? Do you choose to match the frequency that holds you down? When you are, especially at the level of the astral realm, it is by agreement. You are choosing to more openly match the vibration of those that are of a lower frequency. You are allowing them to bring you down. Understand that as you move up in your frequency, it becomes obvious. And we mean obvious when you are actually dealing with those types of beings.
Right. Yeah, it couldn't even be any other way.
No,
Right.
when nothing is hidden, it is very obvious to us because we are coming from a certain level and frequency to be able to know we can choose those things.
Right. And you can see these things a mile coming, I guess, because you sense it.
We know it.
Right.
We know when a vibration or frequency is not of cohesive or a vibrational match to us, so we choose simply not to participate in those type of interactions. Use
Thank you
your
very much.
discernment to determine whether or not the interaction or the experience or the connection is right for you.
Thank you. There's a question
This
from
comes
A.
this,
Oh,
this comes down to a know thyself and know what's true for you. Know what is in your space. Be willing to go with the flow. And if people disappear out of your life, and if people don't jive with you or in a resonance with you, allow them to leave. It's one of the nicest things you can do for them and for yourself.
thank you. There's a question from A now. I believe we discussed this before, but we'll repeat if that's okay. A is asking, Ethan, what frequency does the channel move to enable the connection?
Closer to the idea of 140,000.
Thank you.
But at the same time, we lower our frequency to be able to connect.
Right. What frequency would you be on, Ethan?
On a daily basis,
Yeah.
I am closer to the idea of 450, 100,000. I am more at the point in my evolution because understand that when you are speaking to me, the different ways that I speak, depending on which part of me you're speaking to, which energetic level that I have reached, or what version of me that is coming through, because you are actually, in a sense, speaking to different versions of me simultaneously. Some where I am operating closer to the idea of pure non physicality, and other times you are speaking to me when I am more dense in nature and only quasi physical.
I see. Ethan, do you have simultaneous connections with, or just one at a time? Like myself, I can only process one at a time. But can you be speaking with us now and also be in touch with other Sasani or anyone else?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm also speaking through multiple versions of the channel currently. He is having this similar conversation with different versions of you.
So these conversations are happen multiple on multiples in parallel.
Yes, all happening simultaneously.
And which version is the version that I'm aware of now?
You are speaking to a version of me that is more closely related to the idea of non physicality.
Thank you.
You see, when you look at the channel, when he is still twitching, it is more of the level where he has not quite reached to be able to have a smooth connection. That is why there are still the twitches during the transmissions, because we are in the process of upgrading him and adjusting his frequency and his physical form to facilitate a higher energetic state for us to connect to and bring through that particular vibration for all of you to become part of.
Thank you. So, in order for us to communicate in a telepathic way, we all must raise our frequency, yes?
Yes, it is a natural side effect of moving to that particular level. Do you think you are actually saying words when you are in spirit, when you are
Right.
dreaming? It is all telepathic in nature.
Right.
Telepathic.
Telepathic, yes, yes. Telepathic. Thank you. Ethan, I was really curious when we spoke of Pele, and if it's okay, I wanted to speak a little bit more about Pele.
We would like to make one comment prior to the idea of your questions. Humans have a habit of idolizing those people that incarnate, that show up to help you. The idea that this particular being is more of the idea of a helper, much in the same way that we are, but just more purely incarnated on your planet to help you.
Hmm.
To be a model, to be open, to show you the way as to how to act and how to be so you can participate and experience similar things to that particular being.
Right.
Proceed.
Thank you. From the other chat, and I assure you, I won't be washing her feet anytime soon. But I'm just curious because it really is sounds like something completely different and perhaps wonderful is coming with the appearance of Pele on Earth.
Yes. Yes. She is quite a wonderful being. But understand, she is merely a model. She is merely there to help you raise your frequency, much in the same way that we are,
Right,
just more physicalized.
right, right. And In the channel I listened to last night, night before, it was said that Pele was one of Christ's apostles when he walked the earth, and that Christ, as he walked the earth, and Mary Magdalene of that period have already reincarnated on earth, but Pele will be the one to lead the pack, and in a way they're going to come back to this triumvirate, Trinity, back together.
The beings that you are referring to as Yeshua, Mary
Mhm.
Magdalene, are beings that have ascended to the level of being part of your collective and being the idea of the avatar of unconditional love, the idea of motherly love, continuing the theme of today.
Yes.
If you wish and choose to, and would like to interact with those particular beings that exhibit that level of energetic and emotional evolution, operate from that frequency of pure, unexhaustible love.
Yes, 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 yes,
Because
yes.
it is your natural vibration, it is your natural frequency that you are all part of, that you as a being are allowing yourself to operate and have in your frequency. You will act as an emitter for those that need it.
Fantastic. Yes, yes, yes. I'll repeat what you said here.
You are acting as an example for those that need it. We may
Yes.
not necessarily be the form for the people that do not understand, but you can act as an example for those that need it in your life. Be the Messiah. Be that state of love that is the example for those that wish to match your vibration and your frequency in all ways, shapes, and forms that it needs to when they show up. Have compassion, be kind, also know when it is time to step away.
Right.
Self love.
Yes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, stepping away, letting go is probably one of the hardest thing because we're so pre-programmed to, you have to do this and you have to succeed here, and now it's you have to feel joyful or this and that, and not always really allowing ourselves to flush through all the emotions and the feelings so we can reconnect in a compassionate way to ourselves, right?
You are and have been going through a transformation for some years now. You are reaching the other side of this particular period.
Hmm. And you speaking of you as in society, yes?
Earth, you as a
Right.
people, you individually, you synchronistically for who those need it, you as a culture, as a collective.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I'm especially asking because in my mother tongue, you there'll be a separation between singular and plural. That's why I asked you, just to be sure. But I understand, and I do sense just by walking down the street and speaking with people that there is more love energy. There's more compassion. There's more willingness to be real with each other. Do you sense that too?
Yes,
Yes.
you are feeling reflected back to you the frequency that you are emitting. For as you see those people around you, you will experience that particular vibration that is reflected back to you from your experience. and from the way you choose, and we express this completely, choose to present yourself.
Right. So the manifestation of the physical life, it is a projection of my own energy, yes?
Yes, everything that you have in your reality is a projected of your particular energy.
If there's two of us in the room,
There's more than that.
yes. No, I mean if
You
there's
have
millions,
many you have
yeah.
many beings. If you could actually see into other realities properly, you would see your room is filled. For everyone that is watching this and will watch it, understand that you have beings around you all the time on many different levels that you couldn't comprehend beyond even just your guides, beyond just your guardian angels. You are surrounded by an entire team of people constantly. You are loved. That is why they are there.
How may I connect or feel these beings more?
They are doing the most loving thing by always being there, but not in your face.
Yeah.
They are connected to you constantly. There's no way they can not be connected to you.
When I wake up in the morning and I say, angels, help me have a good day, help me have good, not too painful lessons. Where does that go? Where's that
You are
information?
setting your you are setting your intention for your day and what you choose and wish to experience. So even when the things that do show up that are painful,
Mhm.
that was there and sent on purpose for a reason to help you grow.
I see. Thank you. I have a question here. Oh, I have a question. Lola Bola. Do all of those beings around us know that we are here?
Yes, you are at a lower frequency range, but they are also interacting with a more expanded version of you at a higher level.
And when you say a more expanded version of a higher level, you refer to higher selves?
Yes, that is how they interact with you. When you
Right.
go into the state where you meditate and go into your subconscious, go into the astral realm, you're actually moving up to a level where you are more expanded in your awareness and your who you are energetically.
Thank you. There's another question here from the same person. Are they all aware of us or just living their lives not knowing that we are next to them too? I guess you answered that already.
Yes.
Yes. Ethan, when the beings, energetic beings, interact with myself and my higher self, is the higher self for each and every one of us individualized in such
Yes.
way, or is it already
Yes.
part of the collective?
It is individualized for each incarnation.
Would you be able to, please, to give me like an overview of I don't know what to say, like the structure or the levels from me here, little Joe, in a physical, sitting in the room, to the higher self, all the way up to the highest level possible.
The highest level that you could experience as a being is ascending to the level of all that is, or what you would refer to as God. And from there, you move down to the level of what you would refer to as angels, those beings that will never be incarnated. Then from there, you move down to the more individuated but still massive collective consciousnesses. Then you move down to different collective consciousnesses that go to more of the idea of an entire galaxy. And then you move down to the idea of individuated consciousnesses that are the size of entire systems. And then you move down to the idea of a planet. And from there, from all the different individuated collectives and oversouls on Earth, you move down to the idea of an oversoul that you belong to that extends itself through different times and places and ethnicities and sexes and soul groups. And from there, you move down to the idea of the higher mind, the higher self. And then you move down to the less expanded soul, and then down into the physical body.
That is, thank you very much. That is absolutely fascinating.
But understand that each time you move up energetically to different levels, you will have a completely different perspective, but you can only ever experience those levels from who you are currently.
Right. Before and after incarnation, where is I, so to speak?
I is not there. You don't see yourself as separate from anything, so you do not distinguish yourself in that way. You may have the individuated consciousness, you may have the individual parts. You see yourself as more of the whole instead of the part that you are, the speck in the eye. But you are part of the whole.
Right.
You exist.
Very good. Thank you. Let me see. There's a couple questions here. Okay, I'm going to read this. Lola Bola. Am I a more expanded version of another me that's lower and also next to me? Am I influencing them without knowing it?
Yes. As you grow, as you expand, as you shift your frequency, you're still connected to those older versions of yourself that you refer to as memories.
Mm.
You are their future self. They are your past self. You, as a being, energetically represent an expanded version, accumulation of the experiences that you had as being that version of yourself. But understand the connection happens two ways.
Okay. Thank you. There's another
Your
question from.
connections to older versions of yourself are dynamic.
Mm.
You constantly shift to different versions of you, to time and space when you are a different person. What you perceive as your past still exists. It's just on a different frequency, it's a different channel.
Right. So let's say I'm upset about something, and then I take a deep breath, and suddenly I'm release that upsetness. I realize I didn't need it. I'm good. I'm great. Did I
You've
just switch?
expanded.
Sorry.
Yes. Yes. Every change is a total change.
Right.
Every moment's a new moment.
On what? On how do I say it? On what level can I physically switch timelines? For example, the other day, I wanted to surprise my friend, and I jumped, and I ended up being cut my leg. At what level can I say, okay, I want this wound to heal quickly or completely disappear? I can't do it now, but it's possible, I guess, right? If I shifted to a timeline where I'm complete and I never got the cut.
Who's to say you aren't complete even with the cut?
Right.
Who's to say that by having that cut, it makes you more complete with who you are?
I see.
Don't run away from those experiences that enrich your life, that are challenging at times. Those cuts, those experiences, those times that you went through as a person are there for a reason. By invalidating those experiences, those versions of you, you do lose things.
I see what you mean. Thank you. What's still healing? Question from A. Ethium, are there any advice to stay in the love frequency?
Approach your day from a state of unconditional love. Be willing to practice this vibration until you reach the point it emanates from you constantly. You will see it reflected back from everyone you meet when you are able to emit and stay in this particular frequency. You will attract the people that will reflect back to you this particular vibration, whereas you will repel the people that are not within resonance of the vibration you're putting out. And understand that when people do not resonate at this frequency, they will leave your life one way or another.
Right. Thank you. And still have compassion and love to them, even though they leave or even though they're upset at me for whatever reason. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Know that they left in what was right for them.
When I send love to someone, even if they hate me, dislike me for whatever reason, does this help? Does it help?
Yes. You are connected to them, whether they acknowledge it. The things they hate about you are many times the things they hate about themselves.
Yes.
Many of those people that you refer to as existing from a state of hate, of narcissism, of pure, unadulterated self hate for who and what you are, they hate themselves more than they hate you. It's just
Right.
you are the easy target for them to take out their insecurities and their pain on. By no means are we advocating for anyone to take or to have this kind of pain thrust upon them, but understand that those people that are victims of who and what they used to be in the life they lived, they will leave
Yes.
your life as a reflection of living in the state of unconditional love.
Thank you. I think you really hit the nail on the spot here, on the head. The victim energy and the self-loathing and the worthiness, they're all very similar. They all vibrate. They all feed each other, kind of thing.
Yes. You
How
will
does
see as we move ahead and do more of these transmissions, these experiences, that they will all stack on each other. They will all become one big session, one big conversation, just split up into multiple chapters.
Yes, 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 I see it. Is there anything we can do for people who are victims, who are haters?
Love yourself. Be willing to have a honest to God, honest experience of who and what you are, and be willing to let go of those people.
Right. When I send love to someone, do their higher self, higher mind receives it?
Yes, it's very simple. It's very straightforward. You are all connected, like we are all connected to you. There is no lost time, there is no lost experience. You will go through many different phases. Be willing to let go of the old ones because some new surprises and experiences and gifts are coming your way.
Yes. Does one have to be concerned about, say they're married and they're afraid their spouse will leave them or anything like that? Does one have to be concerned about that at all?
If you are worried that your spouse is going to leave you, there are things that need to be said. And many times people stay in relationships too long when the spiritual contract that you had to have a relationship with that particular person in that way has expired. This goes back to the idea of allowing things that no longer fit you to leave.
Right.
Be okay. And also, one of the best examples that you can have is to give your children contrast. If you have children with a person, to give them contrast, to understand and give them a chance to decide whether or not they want to match the vibration of the people or the person that they have chosen to have as their parent.
Can you repeat that, please?
Be willing to allow the beings, if you have children with another person, to be able to make the choice and have the contrast to know whether or not they would like to match the vibration of a particular parent or a particular relationship to continue on with those particular experiences.
Right. So, if I understand you correctly, allow the child some freedom of expression and freedom of choice.
Yes. And be the example of the higher state and what it looks like to love yourself
Right.
and be in that state of unconditional love. For if the child chooses to match that frequency in those relationships, as we said, those type of relationships do not last, and you will play different roles in different lifetimes. You are not new. None of you are. All those relationships in your life, whether it's brothers, sisters, lovers, parents, you've all played many different roles over many different lifetimes. That is why you are in each other's lives this time.
Right. So, if people get divorced, that means that their spiritual contract has completed or concluded.
That could be one way of looking at it, yes. But also, you could be reaching a new phase of your contract. But it is okay. You never really go anywhere. You never really lose anyone.
Right. Thank you. That's a great perspective.
Yes.
Yes. How can we bring more love to the planet to subside the wars, to stop poisoning the air and the water, and all these kind of things?
Understand that you are shifting to versions of Earth that actually match the frequency that you are. So when these particular realities are having wars, understand you don't have to participate. Your Earth will reflect back to you sooner than later that state that you are choosing not to match and not to vibrate at. That lower frequency of death, destruction. It's okay. All these experiences, especially from the higher level, are neutral. Realize that none of these experiences that you have been going through have any inherent built in meaning. So you, as a being, get to choose. What do you want to do with the experiences that have shown up in your life? What do you what would you like to actually live through? Because remember, you chose all of these lessons from a higher level, the themes that you would like to play out, the person you would like to be. What would you like to do to expand your soul at any given moment? You chose these things. You chose the individual experiences, and you chose to have time to actually go through these experiences. This is why we say you do not want to have instant manifestation, because many of the experiences, if you had them, many of them you would not want to have them anymore.
Right.
This is why you have time space. This is why you have the lag that does not happen in spirit because there's only certain experiences you can have in the physicalized world.
Right. It sometimes seemed to me that we refuse to learn things which are pretty simple and will make the same mistake over and over again.
Yes.
Why are we not learning quicker?
What are you holding on to? What have you not come to terms with for that particular theme?
Right.
This goes back to kindness. This goes back to being honest. This goes back to self love. Understand these things are here to help you, to remind you of the experiences that you wanted to have. They may be hard, but that is okay.
Thank you. Ethan, I had an interesting experience this week that I wanted to share with you and whomever is watching. A few days ago, it was the birthday of an old girlfriend of mine that I haven't seen in probably 20 years. But I did
Yes.
send an email and also send an
Yes.
apology because I felt that I might have not acted the best of my ability at the time. And that's a long time ago, over 20 years ago.
Yes.
And I sent it and I forgot about it. And then a couple of days later, I said, "Oh, I wonder what happened." And then for some reason, I looked the person's name and the word, couldn't find anything. Email wasn't read. I never get a response, anyways. And then I discovered that that person has passed on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
When I sent the email, I felt closure. I felt as if the message was appreciated and answered, although there was no physical response. And 2 days
Yes.
later, I found that she died quite young.
Yes.
Did I have closure with her higher self?
Yes. The message was for you, not her. At that level, when you have expanded to that level of awareness, when you transition back into spirit, you see everything. The message was for you.
Mm,
It was also partly her saying it's okay.
right.
The
And
inspiration came from her, actually.
yeah, I kind of felt like it. Thank you.
You heard one of the spirits around you.
He was the most loving person I've ever met, I have to say.
Well, there you go. They reflected back to you the love that you put out and the love
Right.
that you are.
On that topic, asking for forgiveness, not begging, but like I've done wrong to you. I'm sorry. There's famous lines. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. That's from Ho'oponopono. What do you think the value of doing this with people that you realize you've hurt in this life in the past?
Understand that you may not necessarily be able to speak with them and pass on the message to them completely, but understand they do get it even if they do not say things. It is important to come from that place of kindness, that place of understanding, the willingness to be in an expanded state and make it a daily practice. Understand that it's not always going to happen where you can apologize and receive forgiveness in that way. But understand in spirit, in the non physical aspect of things, they do receive it, even if they don't say something.
When you say daily practice, what do you mean exactly?
All those moments, all those people, all those situations that show up in your life are there to teach you forgiveness, are there to help you to move to that level of awareness and understand that those things that disrupt your peace of mind, your being of who and what you are there as a reflection to show you what is in your field at any moment. So, in a way, saying, thank you for showing me a part of me that I have not integrated. I have
Right.
not shown the light.
Thank you. My the part of me which is in the astral realm, higher mind, higher self, does it make does it do anything that requires forgiveness, or only in this realm here, the physical realm, that we make these kind of actions that require then to go and apologize?
Forgiveness on that level is instantaneous. Whereas, much in the way that you have things have time space, time to them to actually show up, you have the same thing on the physical level for forgiveness. But understand, when you forgive others, you forgive yourself
Yes.
for things you did not do in the first place.
Yes. I did find in my wandering thoughts that the issue of ego, self love, forgiveness, connected to self, are really one and the same in a way. Perspectives on the same issue, if you will.
Yes,
Right.
it's all the same thing from different perspectives.
Why do I feel that the ego is so eager to hurt and to bloat and to, get in other people's faces?
Because it has been hurt. It has been given a job that it was not designed for. It is overburdened with time and experiences that it was never designed to actually handle and process.
Tell me more about that, please.
Your physical mind is a receiver, your physical
Right.
brain. It is a quantum antenna. It receives information from the higher mind, much in the way that I'm coming through the channel right now and using his body. I am at a much higher level, so I can see things much further out. The physical mind receives the information, the connection, the communication. The egoic mind, that which you think you are, perceives. It acts in a way that is there to help you function and navigate the reality that you think you're in. It gives you something to interact with so you can interact with other people and play out the lessons you're going to play.
Right.
It many times, many negative egos, when many egos have fallen into the idea that they need to do more than they actually need to do, this is the point you see these egos that have been overburdened with ideas and experiences they were never designed to handle, to come up with ideas of things that it was never meant to come up with an idea. It doesn't come up with an idea ever. That is the job of the higher mind.
Right. Lola is asking, what was the ego designed for?
To interact with your physical reality, to go through and do the lessons that you and the themes that you chose to play out in this particular incarnation. You, what you think of as Lola, is the ego, is the personality construct that you have to experience this particular reality. And you will go through experiences that will reformat you to different versions of the different ego and personalities that you, as a higher being, would like to shift to match your particular vibration in that moment.
Thank you. And you said the ego is not as active as much in the higher realms.
No, you do not take on the idea of an ego like you do in the physical life, because you are more of the sum of your parts, less of the individual parts themselves, and you act from the state and the place of what you actually are.
Right, and the ego would be a reflection or of individualized
Yes,
persona of sorts,
yes,
like
yes.
a mask. Right. Okay, good. Thank you. A is asking, what is the best way to build heart and mind coherence?
Be kind to yourself. Act from a place of unconditional love for everyone in your life. But also, first and foremost, have unconditional love for yourself.
And this is the core of today's lesson, to be unconditionally and unexhaustibly love yourself
In a positive way.
in a positive way.
It is not a coincidence that we are speaking to you at this time, in this day, in this place, on the date of love. The celebration of what you are, your particular core frequency for each individual person today is a reflection of that. The particular vibration that you actually are and always will be. You can never run away from it. You will never not exist. You will always be part of the whole of all that is.
Thank you. And you know, when I was thinking earlier today about a broadcast, I realized there's going to be a theme. What could be the theme be? And what came is all about love.
Wonderful synchronicity.
Did you put that idea in my head?
No, you're higher minded.
Right.
We are, when we interact with like this, with you and others, we are actually interacting with your higher mind, and they are actually coming through to you and the individual people that are actually part of this transmission.
I I do feel there's a very special vibe when we do these lives.
Yes, it is reflecting back to you your own higher mind.
And
All of you.
also, yeah, and also the channel and I found that and perhaps other people watching right now that we quite energized, not in a bad way, but I'll probably stay up till 3 in the morning tonight.
It's the reflection of being energized by your full being that is being beamed through the channel right now and being reflected back to you of what you actually are.
Yes.
It's a choice. You choose to
Yes.
show up, you choose to be part of your experience, you choose to live. The most loving thing you all can do for yourself and everyone else in your life is to truly live. What is live backwards?
Uh,
Evil.
evil.
So the most evil thing you can do is not live.
Great. Live evil. And you can really live anywhere, any moment. It doesn't matter if you're in the shower or waiting for the bus or having a party or whatever it is. Yes?
Yes, but be willing to show up to be the best version of you that needs to show up. It's
Yes.
okay if people don't like you. Understand
Right.
that you are not resonating with them correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's simple.
Okay. Cool.
Much of the complex things that you think we are saying are actually really simple in nature. The
Yes.
conflict is the part of yourself that you have not come to terms with, you have not integrated. Those things that in every day that are hard for you to handle are usually reflective of those themes and those things you have not quite worked out.
Absolutely. And I find that the amount of these things and the frequency is reducing all the time.
Yes. As you move through the shift, the frequency moves up, you'll see less. It's normal.
Right. Thank you. Blue Star is asking, we humans seem to love magic, fairies, and fantasy. Can Ethium speak to that?
You are all magic. You are all magicians. I, Magi Nation. You are a nation of wizards. It was in your history, in your past, more normal to interact with these kind of beings. It will become normal again. It will all be integrated, and you will see all the beings that are around you all the time. As you
Right.
shift up in your frequency,
Is this shift happening? Let me rephrase this. Can we anticipate more and more people be able to interact with higher realms spontaneously?
yes. And for the children being born from the last years of time, it's becoming more and more normal for them to just be able to naturally interact and never lose the ability to interact with creatures and beings on those levels.
Right. Speaking with my daughter, I haven't heard her say anything about that or experience anything like that, but I can tell you that she catches on things so quickly, and she's way faster than I'll ever be on the computer. And I have 30 years of experience, and she has just a couple.
It is part of her generation that has come in and started integrating into your society, but it also is the idea of they become part of your society. They become normalized to the things that are normal for your particular society. But understand, as time moves on, your society is going to transform sooner than you think.
Right.
But that's okay.
Um, yeah.
Be okay when these things happen and change does happen in a large way, as you have been asking for,
Yes.
because at times it may seem scary, but ultimately being able to ride the wave and live in the safe zone in a sense energetically that allows you to fully live and fully integrate those key understandings that are taken and brought in and integrated into your being all of the time.
Right. Do you sense we're still on a timeline of positive change?
Yes, that is why we are here right now. That is why we have been coming through the channel for close to a year now, more openly and honestly. We were there prior to these types of interactions, but it was not the right timing.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions here. A is asking, how do you know if you are thinking about your heart or thinking from your heart?
If the thoughts themselves have a twinge of love and compassion and more being in the present moment, you are coming from the heart. Whereas if you are more interacting in a way that is negative, that is not cohesive, that needs you to be anxious, to worry about the future, that things will not work out, usually this is indicative of being separate from these two organs, these two ways of living. The idea of what we share is to be more integrated, allow both parts of your being to actually integrate and connect and act as one cohesive unit. Naturally, as you do this, you will actually tune in and be able to cohesively know and what is true for you, because you will be operating as a whole system. You will realize nothing is left out, no part of you is separate from any other part, that you are a complete being.
Thank you. That makes sense. Lola is asking, what or where does the tarot originate?
The idea of the tarot system that you speak of, well, originates from the idea of the Atlantean civilization. It was the idea of being able to connect to archetypal levels and archetypal symbols and energies to communicate with those particular beings. It was a way of interacting and learning to have an actual communication from the template level.
Thank you. Ethan, the major arcana has 22 cards and the Hebrew alphabet has 22 letters.
Yes.
Are these two connected?
Yes. It's all synchronicity. It's all connected. There are no separate parts.
Okay, but why wouldn't it be 26 like in English?
It wouldn't work out properly if you did that. The math is there to make you and help you properly learn how to communicate with your higher self. It would not work out properly with the 26 letters.
I see. I've been recently exposed to pendulum, and I've seen some channeling. Those Pele channelings came through a pendulum.
Yes.
How does that work?
Much in the way that we are speaking through the channel, it is a more basic form of the communication that we are doing currently with the channel. It is a basic way of them actually moving the hand at a higher level and the body reacting and allowing it to bring the information through in an externalized way.
Okay, I see. So automatic writing will be similar, just moving the hand that
Yes.
writes with. Okay, okay.
You're allowing information to come through in a more open way than just knowing and having the information come through and trusting it.
Yes, thank you. Another question from Blue Star.
Yes.
I believe we spoke about this before, but let's read it. What might our communities look like after the change?
Well, the change itself is happening currently. You are going to see breakups of old systems that have oppressed many people. You will see people moving to new areas. You will see people becoming part of communities in a way before they were isolated. You will start to see people more open to the world instead of closing themselves off and hiding away from people in their life. Remember, all of these sort of interactions, whether it's on a transmission like this, is still a case by case basis. Allow your guides, allow your intuition, allow your imagination to guide you to the place that is most applicable for who and what you are and what you have to share with the world.
Thanks very much. I have a question from Zed.
Yes.
As Sistani say, we shift billions times per second.
Yes.
Why don't we shift trillion times a second?
You are. It's just the trillions of times per second is imperceivable for you. If you've heard the idea of the Planck's constant, it is the amount of time that you actually stay in any one reality.
Yes.
You are able to perceive the level of shift, the level of understanding. The idea of the Planck's constant is 1 billionth of a second. So therefore, you are shifting through billions of parallel realities per second. That is why we say that.
I see. And does when we shift, does that mean that each of these realities being created and then stored somewhere?
They're not stored, they already exist. It's just your consciousness is shifting to these individual realities all simultaneously, smoothly, without you even perceiving it. Because you and the channel and anyone else listening to this transmission in the future and now are all shifting constantly. There isn't a moment you aren't shifting. You are not even the same person you were when this transmission started, or even 5 minutes ago, or 2 minutes ago. And we say this
Okay.
literally,
Yes.
literally. You are not the same person physically that you were a minute ago.
Yet I stay me, my voice is the same, my face is the same, and so on and so forth.
You keep recreating those things.
Ah. That's really good. Thank you.
You
It's
recreate your experiences to realities and connect to realities that are so similar to the reality that you were just previously in. So therefore, you do not perceive the change that you have gone through.
I got it. Thank you. It's hard to wrap my mind around the parallel realities, but all I know is one continuous one. But I thank you for the.
All I know is shifting between different parallel realities constantly, seeing different versions of myself and being different versions of myself constantly, and understanding that my consciousness shifts and branches off into multiple parallel realities and then comes back to it and brings back the information that I gained from all those different realities. That's what I know.
That's good. Thank you.
That is why when we are speaking to you, you are actually interacting with different versions of us throughout the entire conversation.
Right. Right. Yeah, you mentioned that earlier. Okay.
Yes,
Zed is asking, out of 8 billion human population, how many have higher selves, or are
all of
some
them,
just
all of them,
background?
all of them. They are all part of an oversoul. They are all there to interact with you. Understand that all souls were created at the exact same moment at the beginning of creation. So therefore, no one's new. And all these different souls on different levels and different frequencies all exist all at once.
Is there a number of how many souls were created?
You wouldn't be able to perceive it.
I see.
There
What
are so
happens?
many ways of interacting and being and living and existing inside of creation, many of which you can't even perceive.
Yes. What was before the souls were created?
Pure oneness. The one. The one that does not know itself because it does not have a reflection of itself. That is where the idea of all that is comes from. It is the two-ness that allows itself to be everything that is in creation, to reflect back to the one so it can know itself from these perspectives.
Does the one ever stops to knowing itself?
No, it is the one. Everything is the one. That is why you had the idea of the matrix inside of your collective as a permission slip to know that you can move outside of the perspective of who and what you are.
Right. Was the Matrix, since you brought it up, was the Matrix created to teach us about time and space, so to speak?
Of what it looks like when you are able to move beyond the idea of time, beyond the idea of space, beyond the idea of the reality you think you're in.
I see. That film, a series of them, really opened my eyes, and I'm sure many others, to all these ideas.
That is why they're there.
Thank you. Uh, Lola is asking, why does the universe appear to be expanding and if everything is already there?
You are expanding your consciousness, so therefore the reality and the universe that you think you're in keeps expanding because you keep expanding.
Thank you. Zed is asking, what is a sound? Is it the light expressing itself in a different sense?
Yes, everything is light, everything is frequency, everything is moving at different rates. That is why you experience all things in different ways.
Thank you. Media One is asking, why are we not hearing any sound at all? I'm not sure what that means.
Because you are not the correct receiver for those particular sounds that are around you all the time. You must be the proper resonance to even perceive those kind of frequencies. At this time, what is the time that we have left?
Yes. Are you asking me how much time we have left?
Yes.
About 5 to 10 minutes, I guess.
Take two more questions.
Okay. This is not a question, but I'll use it as one. Laurel is saying, I am so grateful for this time and the information presented this evening. My last question, and thank you very, very much, Ethan, for today and for this expanded and fantastic love broadcast.
Yes.
Is there
We love you
anything?
all implicitly. We love you all implicitly.
Thank you very much, and we love you too. And we really do. Is there anything I can do for the channel or for this broadcast to make it better or more comfortable for the channel?
The love you give to the channel in facilitating these connections is enough. Because you are all enough in all time, all places, in all versions of you. Act like it. This would be the last message we would like to give you. Act and know and be when you interact with everyone in your life. Come from a place of love and compassion for yourself first, and let that be reflected back into the reality that you have been experiencing. And then you will see your reality shift to match the frequency that you live and show the world and choose to be in all time, all places, with all people.
Thank you very, very much for today.
Good day.
Good day.